Shazazz Creations, your one-stop shop when it comes to customization. Totes, tees, tumblers, hats, and more. Looking for a customized gift idea for a graduation, birthday party, baby shower, or just a unique creation of your own? Check out Shazazz Creations as seen here on Whitney D TV. Female, Black owned. Use my promo in the description box down below and let her know Whitney D of Whitney D TV sent you. Thank you. Bye. Welcome to Embrace Pangea. These products are all created to bring you back to balance through nature's gifts. They have a wide range of products that deal with various aspects of daily life, such as deodorants, juices, clothing, vagina detoxes, and body scrubs. Whichever product that you decide to embrace, you can rest assured that it was created with love for the betterment of self. Embrace your Pangea. Visit the link in the description box below and let them know that Whitney D of Whitney D TV sent you. Bye. So check out the site embracepangea.com and embrace your Pangea. You know what I'm saying?
Come on in, people. It's time for the plug. Y'all know I got a word. If you don't know, you're gonna find out in a few minutes. My name is Britannia, and I am the plug. I am the plug. My name is Britannia, and I am the plug. I am the plug.
Hey guys, hi Gems. Welcome. Guys, I am very excited, honey. The party is coming. Welcome.
Know that the ride or
Welcome. Welcome to the house of the princess.
I keep boys by my seat. Know that the ride or die.
I'm 50% righteous, 50% ratchet.
Boys by my seat. Know that the ride or die. My name came up a lot, it sounds more when
Thank
I was
y'all
not
for joining
around.
us.
Certain people that I know.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
You take the blue pill.
The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You stay in Wonderland.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
All I'm offering is the truth.
The choice is yours.
Welcome to the gold mine.
I can't even count, but numerous of times at night I'm always was taken to this back room and then molested. So it's I can't even count.
But I wasn't okay.
And then it got to the point where he started to go a little further.
Get off my sister, and I was just like, yeah, because I didn't know, what was going on. So was your abuse by females, males, or
Male.
So I would say around 7.
because in that moment we had all had a common narrative. They had been molested too, and 2 out of those sisters by the same person that was doing it to me.
He said, well, I want to ask you, are you gay?
We survived because it figured out what to do if we blow a fuse, and the brain knows what to do if it believes it will destruct. It takes memories and it moves them offline so that we don't remember, so we don't have to deal with what the brain says is too much.
Drama every time you do something. No peace, nowhere. You're not looking at the spirit realm. In the natural, you look like a pretty cool brother. You're a pretty cool sister, but you can't get along with nobody. And every relationship, even the good ones that should have turned out into something good, can't turn out good. You're not aware of the spirit realm.
What's up, Bill Gang? So I would like to address this white woman who goes by the name of Nikki Marie on Facebook. Her page is private, but her DMs are wide open. You see, this scarecrow thought it'd be a good idea to slide in a black woman's DM, bully and harass her over having a small disability. Pause and read. Pause and read. Pause and read. You see, this beautiful black woman you decided to harass for having a small disability, when being compared to you, is walking art. Black women are literally walking Picassos, which is why snow roaches like you envy us so much. You look like the cashier at HEB that has to call the manager every 5 seconds because you're too stupid to work the register. You look like splattered bird shit dried up on the side of someone's car. You couldn't match her beauty if she gave you an audio booklet with a step-by-step description on how to do so. And between me and you, I'm the bigger bully. Sit your ass down.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be. Go ahead and click that subscribe button to be a part of the Witness Gang, to join the Witness Nation. Now let's get into this, shall we? Hello, you guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be.
I'm Whitney.
Hey again, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Please place your city in the chat so I can shout you out. More than likely, this is a pre-recording, and so this is not live, unfortunately. I just need a little bit more time to have a little more livelihood with myself before I present myself again. So I'm just kind of going to be doing these pre-recordings and pushing them out for you guys, so you guys can have the transcripts from my perspective, from me. Not for nothing, those that aren't aware of what's going on, if you follow me on any of my social medias, from IG to Facebook, I made everyone aware that one of our close family friends passed suddenly. We literally just spoke to him, and it's very devastating. It's devastating our entire family, and those that know that I pushed over to watch Three Shots In, which is my husband's and his homeboy's podcast. He was the center guy. He was AG. He always opens the show and like, it's the one and only big homie AG. But we won't be hearing that anymore. And so we're just grappling with everything, because it was suddenly he was just fine, and then some complications at the hospital, and he's no longer with us. So just being respectful of his beautiful wife and children and grandchild, and just the loved ones that he left behind. We are truly devastated. So I'm just still trying to push on and cope, because I know this is something he would do. He'll be like, sis, don't be doing all that crying, you know. So just wanted to come on to you guys and read for you guys. I'm going to be skipping further ahead because I don't want to get so far behind with other people reading the transcripts that it becomes a bore to you guys. So I'm skipping beyond a lot of people that they're not at this point. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back, because eventually we are going to run out of these transcripts. I'm in the process of working on getting the others. However, I have decided to just to do it on my end. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want somebody to feel like they are griping with choices of people. So I came in this by myself. I think I'm gonna continue with it by myself. Hold on one second, you guys. Getting to everything, okay? As I state down below, welcome to the channel, and please place your city so I can give you guys a shout out, okay? Not for nothing, make sure that over here we need ETV, you keep it cute so you won't get the boot, okay? And I appreciate you guys like and share this video, as well as if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like to be part of the memberships club where you get exclusive content on the back end, click that join button down below and pick the tier that you would like to continuously support me throughout each month on a monthly basis. Okay. Now, if you want to send me direct funds, this is where you can do it. This is my cash out. And so, yeah, that will be also located at the bottom of the screen, scrolling across right there. So if you need to refresh your memory, that's my cash out. If you want to send me some love offerings, that's where you need to send it. Or if you just want to send funds in donation to the transcripts, please make sure that you indicate that in the notes. Okay. Not for nothing, you guys. Let's go ahead and get into these transcript readings. As I stated, I just kind of was looking around and just making sure I'm not rereading stuff, which eventually I am. Like I told you guys, eventually I am, or you're going to hear what other YouTubers, are reading. And I don't want you guys to get trampled up on, oh my gosh, Admis was reading that. Oh my gosh, Whitney was reading that, because we have different perspectives. I try my best to give my thoughts and commentary on what I'm reading, and clearly offends a particular person, but not for nothing. I don't care. I don't care. But just let y'all know, tread lightly with the stuff that y'all pulling out there about other people, because YouTube ain't playing out here in these streets. Okay. Not for nothing, you guys. Let's go ahead and get into these transcripts. I pray you guys are having a blessed and wonderful day. You guys are breathing, loving life. It's Labor Day. Enjoy this day. Not for nothing. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start on page 1500. This is the examination continues with by Miss Gideas. Like I said, you guys can go over to Admins to get the backtracking of these. I think I left off at like 13 something, so I'm jumping well in advance. But like I said, I'm going to play catch up, and I'm just going to release them as videos. It won't be anything like this live where I'm reading, not necessarily live, but pre-recorded and premiering with you guys to where I can interact with you in the chat. It'll more so be just the transcripts, getting released, so I can catch up. And I'm still going to do my playlist like I told you guys, so you guys don't have to go all over my page, which if you notice, majority of my content has been these transcripts, so it's kind of easy to follow along on my channel. It's very organized. I really haven't been doing any other content because I've been trying to cover all this and get all this out. It's not for nothing, you guys. Come on, let's go ahead and get into this. All right. And who called you? Anybody who was a guest that was there would call me, or was anybody that was trying to reach Mr. Kelly would call either the reception phone or would call my cell phone. What other interaction did you have with the defendant's guests? If they could have been delivering food or escorting someone or giving someone a ride, did you receive guests from individuals who wanted to move around did you receive calls from guests who wanted to move around the studio? Yeah, I would have received a call if someone asked to be taken to a specific place, such as to say from the lounge to the studio could be one place. Can you take me to the studio? When you receive a call like that, what did you do? If I had been previously told to expect the call, I would already know to take the person or how to action. If I hadn't, then I'd have to ask for permission or find Mr. Kelly to ask what to do. Kind of funny that the women are having to ask permission, the girls, the guys, whatever. But on top of that, the staff has to ask permission. And who did you ask permission from? I'd either call Rob or someone I knew that was with him, could get to him so I could speak to him When a guest was ready to leave Olympia Fields, what happened? They would either just leave, or I get a phone call, or we get instructions to escort somebody. And can you describe the type of telephone call that you would receive from guests who wanted to leave? It would either be someone where somebody would call to ask to speak to Mr. Kelly, and then he would give us instructions as to what to do next. Uh, those instructions could be to escort them to their vehicle, or to give them a ride somewhere, or else somebody may call. Oh, sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Um, where was I at? Oh, there we go. Or else somebody may call and say, can I get a ride to someplace? And if we had gotten instructions, we wouldn't take the person where they were supposed to go, or else have to reach out and find out from him or someone who was near him to find out what to do with the request. Okay. Were there times that you were not able to reach the defendant after you received a request from a guest to leave? I can't be for sure, but there was often times when I was unable to reach him when there was a phone call. And what, if anything, would you do if you had not received permission? If you were not able to contact the defendant, continue to keep trying to reach him until I did. And what would the guest do as you tried to reach the defendant? Would wait, uh, would wait to hear back from him, or else would call back to see if there had been an update. And then as soon as I would, until I could, and I'd say, we're still trying to reach him. Now, in the time that you spent at the chocolate factory in Olympia Fields, when you were there, did you see guests freely roaming around the Olympia Fields, the defendant's residence at Olympia Fields? From time to time, people would walk into the room that you be in, or if we'd be outside, someone would walk out of a car or walk out of the house to a car. That did happen on a regular basis, semi-regular. We would just remember that we'd always scatter as soon as somebody stepped out of the house. We'd leave to get out the way. And who are you referring to? What do you mean you would scatter? So if it was a female guest, we just clear out. That's the best way I could describe it. Just actually just clearing out, just like leaving the area. Why is that? That was what we were instructed to do, is just to leave if we were in the area where they were coming through. So you testified that you did see individuals in the area itself, but would you describe the guests time when guests were at Olympia Fields? Were they able to roam freely? Generally, no. People would ask for permission to go from place to place. Wow. And when you say people, who are you referring to? Yes. Guests would call to ask to move from place to place, or we would get notification when somebody was going to need to be moved. And again, who are you receiving notifications from? Directly or indirectly from Rob? I think you testified earlier that you worked at Olympia Fields, or you worked at the chocolate factory at Olympia Fields for the entire time that the defendant had that studio. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Were you there when the defendant no longer was at Olympia Fields? Yes, I still worked for him for an additional at least a year, I think, after, or around a year after we left Olympia Fields. What, if any, studio did the defendant use after he was not at Olympia Fields? There was a studio on Ohio Street, just off the interstate in downtown Chicago. And do you recall when the defendant stopped working at Olympia Fields or stopped using the studio at Olympia Fields? Yeah, I don't know officially, but I think it was in midway through 2010. I am showing the witness what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 505A, exhibit published. Do you recognize 505A? Not necessarily, no. Okay, and 505C, exhibit published? Yes. What is 505C? Sorry, that's the entrance to the building off of Ohio uh, that the studio was located in. And 505B, exhibit published? Yep, same entrance. It didn't have the name on it at the time. I don't believe, I believe that was added later. Hold on now. Okay. But that was that's the entrance. And that was the entrance to the building where the studio the defendant was using on Ohio Street was located. Correct. You testified earlier, I believe, that you also held a position as a road manager. Is that correct? Yes. When did you serve as the road manager? When we would travel for tour between 2006 ish, 2006, I think, was the first summer, 2006 until the last tour we did, which was in 2011. Do you recall which tours you accompanied the defendant on? Yes, the Lighted Up tour, the Double Up tour, Ladies Make Some Noise tour, and Love Letter tour. And did you also go on the Best of Both Worlds tour? I did, yes. Hold on, you guys. Sorry, y'all, that's my baby girl. And did you also go go on the Best of Both Worlds tour? I did. Yes. Were you serving as the road manager for each of those tours? Not on the Best of Both Worlds tour, but on the other tours that you just described? I believe so, yes. What were your duties and responsibilities when you were acting as the road manager, in effect? Uh, to make sure that the buses were stocked, that the drivers were where they needed to be, that we were able to get to our destinations. There was other people that we would coordinate scheduling with, make sure that the hotels, we were checking hotels, got all the room keys for the hotels that were needed, arranging some travel for people coming in and out, coming in to see a show. And also, if there was an SUV, making sure that we had a SUV available. If there was one that was following us, that person knew where to be for each. The driver of the SUV knew where we were going to be. There would often be basketball played before every show, and often an after party or appearance after the concert, and coordinated to make sure everybody was where they needed to be. How did you travel when you were on tour with the defendant on a separate bus? How did buses travel along with the defendant when he was on tour? It varied on the tour, but it could be anywhere between 3 and 6. When you were on tour with the defendant, what, if anything, did you do to connect the defendant to women that he didn't previously know? Objection by Mr. Fernella. The judge overruled. There would be instances where I would be told to hand a small piece of paper with his phone number on it to somebody, or I may have been given instruction, or I may have been given instructions to either escort somebody to either the backstage area, or to a hotel, or to a vehicle. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So he was given instructions to get a handwritten piece of paper with a phone number on it. You said you said there may be instances when you might give out a piece of paper. On how regular of a basis did you give out pieces of paper with the defendant's number? It was infrequent for me to do that in the concert setting. Sometimes maybe in the after party at a club, or after party in the venue would be more common for me to be asked to do that. Wow. So that means that it was different people that did it. So sometimes you may be designated for this event at this time, and then somebody else designated for this event at another time. Sound like a enterprise to me. Anyways, he goes on to say, if we were traveling, or if we went to a mall or something, it might be possible he would ask me to hand a number to somebody as well. Again, you said it might be possible for you to hand out a number. How regularly did you distribute the defendant's number when you were on tour with him at any of the different venues that you just described? It would be asked of me to do so fairly regularly. And who asked you to do that? Rob would ask me to. Wow. What were the different types of venues where you would distribute the defendant's telephone number? It could be at the mall, the after party. How about when you were at restaurants with the defendant? I can't think of a specific instance, but there could certainly have been times when I was asked to hand a number off at a restaurant. And it's funny because I actually saw a video on YouTube from this young lady about how she saw RKelly at her restaurant. She was working at a McDonald's, and she was like, she said that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna have to find the video. I'm really gonna have to find the video. I'm not quite sure. She said that she got the number and threw it away or something to that extent. But yes, after, her name is Destiny something. I can't remember. I gotta look it up. I'll probably put it in the description box. You testified that you would distribute a piece of paper. Oh yeah, that you would distribute a piece of paper. Who created that piece of paper? Wow. Myself or somebody else from the entourage, sure, the enterprise. or one of the runners or engineers, we'd print up, either use a computer to type up the number on a bunch of slips of paper and cut them up, or else we would tear sheets of paper up and write the number on it by hand. Wow. Very orchestrated. And the thing is that I kind of felt that I was just like, they must type these mugs up so it can be easy accessible and to be easy to distribute. And there you go. And how regularly were those pieces of paper created? As far as I can remember, we always had those, or somebody always had those on hand. Who carried the pieces of paper? Anybody who was a lot of people carried the paper. And by a lot of people, what roles did those people serve in who were carrying the pieces of paper? All of us that were in his traveling party. Not necessarily all of us. That's an overstatement. Most of us in the traveling party. So myself or another assistant, a runner, would have some. Other people that were traveling, even sometimes, probably, I think Donnie might have had someone on him too. Hold on, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Let me continue. Who was Donnie again? The music director. And who identified a particular female to give one of these pieces of paper with the defendant's number? I would only give it out at direction from Rob. Wow. Wow. And it's really enough that people are putting out there that they're not proving the enterprise, because here it is, someone is saying that they're getting their directions specifically from Rob, or people in between have to go to Rob. Sound like a well-oiled machine to me. Did you always receive directions directly from Rob, or did you sometimes receive them from other people as well? Yes, I could have received it indirectly, but from someone who I knew was speaking to him. Speaking on behalf of the defendant, that's correct, speaking on behalf. Now, you testified earlier that it was infrequent that you would distribute the defendant's number at concerts. Is that right? That's correct. Were you aware of whether other individuals distribute the defendant's number to individuals, to females at concerts? Yes, I believe there were. And why is it that you believe that? Because I would give those sheets of paper to other people that were traveling with us. Now, and when you say, who did you give those sheets of paper to? To anybody else that was in the traveling party, any of the guys that were playing. Some of the guys who played basketball with him had numbers. Some of the anybody that was around some people. Some of the friends that might have flown into town would have some numbers as well. Wow. And again, you are referring to pieces of paper with the defendant's number on it, correct? Pieces of paper with Rob's number on it, yes. You testified that it was infrequent that you would distribute it at concerts. Why is that? Usually, while he was performing or while he was in concert, uh, was my downtime. So I could, it's either take a nap, sleep on the bus. I'd make sure his dressing room was clean up and ready to go, that the food was swapped out, that if he needed a special meal, that it had been picked up. And I didn't have any responsibilities for the actual performance, so that was my time to get away and rest. All right, so fair to say you just weren't in the location where the numbers were being distributed. That's correct. You testified that you there were 3 to 4 buses. I don't know how many buses would you say would travel at a time. Depending on the tour, there 3 to 6 or 8 could be on the tour. Who else traveled on these buses that were going on the defendant's tour? There would be a bus for the band. If there was dancers, the dancers would have their own buses. There were some tours where security had their own buses. Then there would be a crew bus, the bus that the traveling party would have. And sometimes there would be a bus for female guests. Female guests of whom? Of Mr. Kelly. Are you aware of who traveled on the bus that the defendant traveled on? Sometimes, depending on the tour, it could have been the family. His family could have been on the bus with him. May have been traveling with a guest. He may have been traveling by himself. While you were working for the defendant, were you provided with a cellular telephone for work? Yes, I was. Do you recall that telephone number? Yes. Yes, I do. What is it? 312 9348. Other than you, who, if anyone else, used that phone? Rob would use the phone, and I probably have handed it over to another runner to use from time to time, but primarily it would be my phone or Rob that would use it. Why would Rob use your cellular phone? If I received a call that was for him, I would take it and give him the phone. And I wouldn't necessarily get it back right away, maybe for some time before I get it. But it was his phone for me to carry around and take calls. I didn't take personal calls on that phone. It was always on only for my job that I had that phone. Now, going back to your time when you were not on tour and you were working at the chocolate factory at Olympia Fields, where in Olympia Fields were the defendant's female guests escorted to? Which different areas? Depending on the time frame while we were there into the studio, there would have been a lounge down there or into one of the studio rooms or one of the vocal booths, the live rooms. There was other rooms used, the pool room. Somebody could have been put in the pool room. Someone could have been put in the game room where the pool table was. There was a theater. Somebody could be put down into the theater. The garage would be a place where the the boxing ring was. Somebody could go into the garage. Where were the defendants? Where were the tour buses when the defendant was not on tour? We always had one. Always had one bus. It would either park in the driveway in front of the garage or on the long drive to the gate. And sometimes when we would get, especially towards the last couple of tours, we could have 3 or 4 tour buses inside the gate before we'd be ready to leave depart for the tour. Who, if anyone, spent time on the tour bus while it was parked at Olympia Fields? That would Rob would often sleep on the tour bus, and sometimes there would be female guests on the bus as well. Now, on how regular of a basis did the defendant have female guests arriving at the chocolate factory and Olympia Fields? I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? Regularly, did the defendant have female guests coming to Olympia Fields? Oh, all the time. And was there one guest there at a time or more than one guest there at a time? There was frequently more than one guest. There could be just one. There could be quite a few. There were a lot of people coming and going. And were there some individuals who stayed at the defendant's house in Olympia Fields or on its property for days at a time? Yes. Did you become familiar with some of the individuals who came on a regular basis to Olympia Fields? We become, with the names, with some of the names for sure. Who are some of the individuals, just first names, please? Who are some of the individuals that you recall spending time, female, spending time at Olympia Fields on a regular basis? Kathy, Ebony, Mary Jane, Rebecca, Tamika, Kiva, that I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's more. If you want me to keep thinking, I can. The judge, I'm sorry. Could I just ask, what time frame are we talking about here? Generally, in what years? So 2004 till 2011. 2011. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Got 15 more pages, you guys. The individuals that you just named, did you become aware of whether those were true names or not true names? In some instances, where I would maybe had booked a flight for somebody, I could know what their first name would be, but sometimes it seemed like the same name was used for multiple people. While you were working for the defendant, did you become aware of the different roles that the defendant employed people to fulfill? Yes. What are the different buckets of jobs that the defendant employed people to do? There was music director, engineer, assistant engineer, receptionist, runner, assistant, personal assistant, housekeeper, nanny. There was a guy who said, hold on, nanny, what you need a nanny for? It's no babies or kids there. Interesting. There was a guy who took care, a fish guy who took care of the fish tank, security, female security and male security, personal trainer, bus drivers, a driver for some of the vehicles. Now, for some of those jobs, like runner and assistant, you use the singular. Was there just one runner and one assistant, or was there more than one runner and more than one assistant? Yeah, there was more than one runner. There would frequently be a couple of assistants, but there could be times that there was a single person who was the assistant. I'm showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 12, exhibit published. Do you recognize Government Exhibit 12? Yes. Who is that? Daryl McDavid. What did he do for the defendant? Daryl was Rob's business manager. I'm showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 4, exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? Yes. Who is that? That's Junebug. What did Junebug do for the defendant? He's his uncle, and he was an assistant. And do you know is Junebug a true name or a nickname? No. His name is George K. George Kelly? Yes, George Kelly. I'm showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 3, exhibit published. Do you recognize who's shown in Government Exhibit B? Yes. Who is that? June Brown. What, if anything, did June Brown do for the defendant? He was part of the management team, and he was an assistant over the course of the time in which I worked for Mr. Kelly. He had different jobs. And by the way, Junebug, over what period of time did he serve as an assistant for the defendant? I'm not sure exactly when he started, but he was working for Mr. Kelly when I started working directly for him in Base Productions in 2004. I believe he might have left from time to time over the course of the duration, but I would say 2009, 2010 was when he stopped working for him, when I was still working for Base Productions. I'm showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 32, exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? Yes. Who is it? Donnie Lau. Is this the individual you testified earlier served as the musical director? That's correct. And did you also sometimes, I think you said this earlier, that you reached out to Donnie Lau to get instructions from the defendant? Is that correct? Yes. One second, y'all. Sorry about that, you guys. Or he reached out to you. Yes. Or he would have called me, or I would call him. I'm showing the witness what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 9, exhibit published. Do you recognize that? Yes. Who is that? His name is Bubble. What, if anything, did he do for the defendant? Play basketball? I'm showing the witness only what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 18. The judge. Let me just ask Mr. Fornella, do you have any objection to that Government Exhibit 18? No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. The judge. Okay. Can I have one moment? Asked Ms. Gideon. The judge. Sure. There was a pause. It's my understanding that counsel has no objection to admitting the following exhibits, and I would therefore offer them. Government Exhibit 18, 21, 19, 23, 16, 15, 36, 24, 25, 28, 27, 30, 26, 29. The judge. All right. No objection. Is that right, Mr. Fernella? That is correct, Your Honor. The judge. Okay, great. Those are all in evidence. Government's exhibits 15, 16, 18, 19, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 36 were received in evidence. Ms. Gideon, thank you. So I am now showing what's in evidence as Government Exhibit 18. Exhibit published. Let me get it. Sorry, you guys. Exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? I do. Who is that? I can't remember his name. What, if anything, did he do for the defendant? Security. If I remember the correct person, but I can't remember his name right now. Ms. Gideon. Government Exhibit 21 in evidence. Exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? I do. Who is he? Who is it? His name is Baldy. What, if anything, did he do for the defendant? He was a friend of the defendant. Government Exhibit 19, exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? Yes. Who is it? His name is Hardy. What, if anything, did he do for the defendant? He was robbed security. And Government Exhibit 22, exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? I do. Who is it? Her name is Candy. Is that her true name or a nickname? I believe that was her true name. And what, if anything, did Candy do for the defendant? She was security. And when you identify the individuals who served as security, what do you mean by that? What did they do for the defendant? They would either be the person that was sitting at the gate, in the call box, at the house, monitoring the gate, or when he traveled. They would be part of the entourage and security, performing the role of security in public. I'm showing government Exhibit 8, exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? I do. Who is it? His name is Blackie. What did he, if anything, did he do for the defendant? He was related to Mr. Kelly, and I don't know exactly, other than just being around it in that capacity, what his role was. How regularly was he around? Infrequently, but around, like perhaps when we were traveling on tour or video performances. But he was at the studio in Chicago as well. Which studio, by the way? Chicago Track and Chocolate Factory. Government Exhibit 23. Do you recognize that individual? Exhibit published. I do. Who is it? Who is it? Big John. What did Big John do for the defendant? He was security. Over what time period? When I started at Chicago Track in 1998 until I'd say sometime in 2000, maybe 7. And when you started at Chicago Track in 1998, was Big John performing security for the defendant? To my recollection, yes. Government Exhibit 16, exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? I do. Who is it? Joe Allen. And did Joe Allen do what? And what did Joe Allen do for the defendant, if anything? He was a bus driver. Where you going, baby? Okay, Make sure you're not loud. Sorry, y'all. Government Exhibit 15, exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? I do. Who is it? Terry Allen. What, if anything, did Terry Allen do for the defendant? He was a bus driver. And when the defendant's bus drivers were, or when you were not on tour, what, if anything, did the defendant's drivers do? They would continue to drive the bus. The bus was frequently with us, regularly with us, even when we were at the house in Olympia Fields, or just sometimes we do trips to the gym or movies, and the bus driver would always be with us. So they would change in shifts, where one bus driver would be driving at one point and another one would come in. There was always a bus driver around. Government Exhibit 36, exhibit published. Do you recognize that individual? I do. Who is it? Diana Copeland. What, if anything, did Diana Copeland do for the defendant? She was an assistant. Government Exhibit 49, exhibit published. Who is that? That's Ian Marinus. Marinus. What, if anything, did he do for the defendant? He was his audio engineer. Over what time period? The entire time I worked at Chicago Track to the time I left Base Productions. So 1997 to 2011. 1997 to 2011. Government Exhibit 50. Yes. Who is that? Abel Garibaldi. What did he do for the defendant? He was also an audio engineer. Over what time period? I don't know when he started, but off and on, sometime in the 90s or early 2000s, all the way to when I left in 2011. Government Exhibit 24. Do you recognize that individual? I think so. Who is it? I think that's Jeff, but I can't remember Jeff's last name. Okay. Government Exhibit 25. What do you think that individual did for the defendant? No, he was an assistant engineer and an engineer. Government Exhibit 25. Yes. Who is that? Ryan Salisbury, I think was his last name. What, if anything, did he do for the defendant? He was a runner. Over what time period? 2004 to maybe 2008, maybe less. Maybe it's 2007. I'm not sure. Government Exhibit 28. Do you recognize that individual? I don't. Exhibit 27. Yes. Who is that? Nate Wheeler. What, if anything, did he do for the defendant? He was an assistant engineer. Over what time period? 2001, perhaps till maybe 2005, 2006. Now, earlier you testified that Ian Marinus and Abel Garibaldi worked through the time that you were at Olympia Fields. Do you know whether they continued to work for the defendant after I left? Yes. I believe they did. Okay, so you are not saying that they left in 2011, just that you left in 2011. That's correct. I left in 2011. Mr. Fernella. Objection, Your Honor. The judge overruled. Government Exhibit 34. Yes. Who is that? Anthony. What, if anything, did Anthony do for the defendant? He was a runner. Over what time period? I don't know when he started, 2005, 2006 to maybe around 2009. And lastly, Government Exhibit 26. Do you recognize that individual? I'm sorry, I misread. I misnamed somebody earlier on. This is Jeff, and Jeff's last name is Meeks. And what did Jeff Meeks do for the defendant? He was an audio engineer. All right. So when you identified Government Exhibit 24, is that the individual you previously identified as Jeff? That's correct. I know who that is. Who is that? That's Blake. Do you know Blake's last name? I think it's Chafin or Chaffin. What did Blake do for the defendant? Well, he was an assistant engineer and an engineer and a technician. Over what time period? Hey, baby, go sit. 98, when I started, until before he left, before Chicago track, the chocolate factory. So probably 2003. And do you recall the hairstyle that he had when he was working at Chicago track, the chocolate factory? Blake's hairstyle? Yes. No, I don't. Do you remember if it was short or long? Mr. Fernella. Objection. He said he doesn't know the hairstyle. I don't recall. Okay. The judge overruled. I am showing Government Exhibit 523A through C. With the consent of the defendant, the government offers 523A through C. The judge. Any objection? Mr. Farinero. No, Your Honor. The judge. Okay. It's in evidence. Government's Exhibit 523A through 523C was received in evidence. Ms. Gideons continues. Bless you, baby. I'm showing what's in evidence as Government's Exhibit 523A. Do you recognize that? I believe that's the basketball gym in Markham. And 523B, that's the interior of the gym in Markham. And finally, 523C, the opposite view of the same gym. And where is Markham? It's a suburb of Chicago, southwest side of Chicago. And what, if anything, did you do with the defendant at the gym in Markham? That is shown in Government Exhibit 523A through C. He frequently played basketball there in the evening, so would travel to and from either the studio or from wherever to, guys, this is the last page, go to play basketball. Now, what were your responsibilities with respect to basketball? Sometimes it was my job to reach out to all the people that were playing to make sure they were going to be there. I would also coordinate the timing to make sure everybody knew where to go. I would have also maybe driven people to and from the gym or escorted guests into the gym and out. How far is the basketball gym in Markham to the defendant's residence in Olympia Fields? 15 minutes. By car? By car. And who played basketball with the defendant? There was a lot of people that played basketball, and it rotated over many years. How could a team be set each night or each time you played? The defendant played basketball. I think as long as we had 3 people on each side, they would play some sort of pickup game, but generally tried to do 5-on-5. And who would find the players for the basketball game? Either I had a list of people to reach out to, or one of, I'll keep going, y'all. One of the guys that he played basketball with would call some people. It for the better part of the time, which I worked for Rob, Junebug also was responsible for coordinating the basketball. How regularly did you coordinate basketball games for the defendant? I didn't coordinate it all the time. When I was responsible for coordinating it, it would be nightly. Are you familiar with the Avenues Mall? Yes. Where is the Avenues Mall located? In Jacksonville, Florida? Yes, Jacksonville, Florida. What, if anything, do you recall happening at the Avenues Mall involving the defendant and a female guest? The Avenues Mall is the mall in Jacksonville. We went to every time we were in town. There was a store called Bleak. I think that we parked on that side where Bleak was, and there would be guests would come in and out. We could pull up there so that the guests could go in there and go shopping, or else somebody could arrive to the mall to be escorted onto the bus or into the mall. Do you have a specific memory of an incident that happened at the Avenues Mall involving a specific female guest? There was a guest that lived in Jacksonville that was a frequent visitor or traveler that came to shows or stuff. What was her name? That's Alexia or Alexis. And you said that she was a frequent traveler. What do you mean by that? Meaning that she would be in Jacksonville. She'd always be at the Jacksonville show, or else I may have booked a flight for her to another venue, or else she came to Chicago. She had been a guest in Chicago. Now, was one of your responsibilities during the time that you worked for the defendant to arrange travel for the defendant's female guests? Yes. How would you do that? At one point, we had a travel management company that we would book all flights through. When we stopped booking travel through them, I will book the flights on Orbitz. What was the name of the travel company that you used? Preferred Travel? And over what time period did you arrange travel for of the defendant's female guests? I don't know when it started for sure, but I probably arranged some travel while we were still at the chocolate factory in Chicago, so probably around 2003, 2004. And did you continue to arrange travel? Yes, off and on until 2011, when you stopped working for the defendant. That's correct. What, if anything, would you request? How would it come to be that you were arranging travel for a particular female guest? By direction of Mr. Kelly or someone that I knew that the directions came directly from him through, so directly or indirectly from Mr. Kelly. What, if anything, did the defendant say that would cause you to arrange travel? He would tell me to book travel for a certain person, or else I would ask. I'd say so and so called to ask for flights, and he would say book travel for him. So did you receive communications from some of the defendant's female guests looking for you to arrange travel for them? There was times in which I was asked. Primarily, the direction came from Rob to book travel for somebody. What, if any information did the defendant provide when he wanted you to book travel for him? He would give me either their number to contact them or tell them that to expect a phone call. And when you arrange to travel for a female guest, what, if any, information would you get from the guest? In order to book travel, I will need their names as it appears on their ID and date of birth. Do you recall an occasion where the defendant had appendicitis? I do. And what city were you when that happened? Miami. Do you recall why you were in Miami? It was a Super Bowl. Do you remember what Super Bowl it was? I do. It was the Bears and the Colts. So it was 2000 and 2005. All right. Was it the Super Bowl when the Colts played the Bears? That's correct. Fair to say, you looked unsure, but you tell me, are you sure of the date that the Super Bowl occurred? Unsure of the date, sure of the teams that participated. And where was the Super Bowl held? In Miami. And when the defendant had appendicitis, where, if anywhere, did he go? There was a hospital in Miami that we went to. I don't remember the name of the hospital. All right, but it was in Miami. He didn't return to Chicago. Is that correct? Correct. The hospital was in Miami. Did you travel outside of the United States with the defendant? I did. Where did you travel to? We went to South Africa and Nigeria. We went to Angola. Ethiopia, Uganda. We did a European tour where we went to Switzerland, Amsterdam, France, Germany, and the UK. And the last trip I took was to Gabon. Oh, wow. You testified that you traveled to South Africa. Do you recall when you traveled to South Africa with the defendant? We went twice. The first time in 2009, I believe, June or July. And then for the World Cup opening ceremonies in 2010. Do you recall how long the trip to South Africa in 2009 was? I'm not sure. I believe it was 2 weeks. All right, you guys, we're going to stop there. We're going to pick back up at 12:30. At 15:36. I have some time that I have to spend with family today. So I'm gonna probably come to you guys later on this evening. I'm gonna try to do live with you guys. I'm gonna try, but not for nothing, you guys. That is the transcript. I kept it off because I just wanted to read and not have to worry about looking at the screen and making sure it's on there. When I come to you guys live, I will have it on the screen and read it. But not for nothing, you guys. Those are the transcripts, and there is the read. Oh, gosh. So we kind of are just hearing the whole breakdown of the enterprise, if you ask me. I feel as though that this is just showing you where the chain of command came. And it was no other place besides RKelly. No other place besides RKelly. So, it's safe to say that this is a well-oiled machine, to say the least. People had to kind of connect with him. It doesn't matter if this person connect with that person. Well, that person connect with him to let that person know. It was a very, very well-oiled machine, to say the least. But not for nothing, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. That's the video. Again, like I said, I'm going to try to come back to you guys later on this afternoon or this evening to finish the rest of the transcripts. If I don't get to, I'll probably pre-record them like I did with this one and just come to you guys like this. I do apologize again for the personalized experience here, but we're still just in this grieving process, and it's kind of hard, but I'm just trying to muster up and work through it. Not for nothing, like I said, the family and I were going to be getting with some other families just to kind of just process everything and grapple everything. And Yeah. So thank you guys so very much. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you guys would like to join the membership, please click the join button located at the right at the bottom of the screen. If you would like to donate to help assist with getting more transcripts, please send the cash out direct and let me know in the notes that it is for the transcripts. Otherwise, I will take it as a love offering and I will be very appreciative of that. Okay. And not for nothing, you guys, tell me what you guys think in the comments down below about what you heard in the transcripts. And this is why it's very beneficial to read them. We can always give our little 2%, our 2 cents, if you will, in regards to anything that is put out there. However, this is black and white, literally black and white, and it is what it is. It tells you. So that's it for me. But if you guys would like to send me anything in regards to just kudos email and just want to check on me or whatever the case may be, hit me up at reviewswithwhitneyd@gmail.com. I guarantee you I'll respond. Are you trying to embark on this YouTube journey? You need help. You need to get help with your graphics and setting up your YouTube. Check me out at whitneydavisplanning@gmail.com, and I have no problem whatsoever in assisting you. I'm going to possibly be starting the whole after party here on the channel. I'm not quite sure if we're going to do it this Friday. I actually have a funeral from a prior friend that passed that I have to go to this weekend. And so I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be in a joyous mood and, to do all of that. However, if so, it will happen after the transcript read. It will be a separate live that you guys will go into. So I can separate the transcript reads from the party, so the whole thing won't get flagged like the other one. And let me just make it very clear: no one flagged the last transcript reading with the after party, and that's the one that I actually just uploaded the other day. I had broke it down and took off the after party and just showed y'all little clips from it. However, what happened was that I got a lot of copyright strikes because we played a lot of music towards the end. And so it got pulled down from YouTube due to all those strikes. And so I'm in the process of disputing a few because I did have authorization. And then the others, I'm just getting the whole segment trimmed out. Once that happens, the whole 5 hours will still be up there because, like I said, we went from transcript reading on to the after party, which I'm going to stop that. I'm going to separate the two. Not for nothing, you guys. Thank you guys so very much for being so supportive of me. All the people that have been sending me well wishes and condolences and things of that nature, you are highly appreciated. And you guys just enjoy life, live life, love the people that you have around you. Try to take care of your body. Take care of your body and what you put in it, and that even includes your spirit. Tread very lightly on negativity and things that people have out there in the world, because it's already enough negativity in the world. So try to be as much of a guiding light as you possibly can. Okay. Not for nothing, you guys. That is it from me. You guys, I just pray that you guys continue to keep me in your prayers because this is very hard. This is extremely hard, to say the least. Like I said, if you guys would venture over with me in a lot of cases, because I had a lot of you witnesses go over to their channel to promote them, to build up their channel. We got them up to like 375, and then they had to take a little break there and gather themselves, and so the beauty of it is that we have those moments. And we're able to reflect on them, and we're able to delight in the times that he was alive. So it's a beautiful thing. It's very, very, very hard on my husband, rightfully so, which I get it. So if you guys can just continue to lift myself, my husband, AG's family, and just lift all of us up in prayer. You know, this is a hard one. This is an absolute hard one, to say the least. But not for nothing, you guys. That is the video. I'm trying to actually get something here that I can actually leave out on. I'm going to play their intro as we exit on out of here. Again, you guys, make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you share it if you care. And I will see you guys later. Peace.
It's the one and only big homie, AG.
It's your boy Darren, better known as Super.
Woo-hoo!
It's your boy Antonius Maximus. We 3 shots in, you heard?
Let's go.
Brown and white. In a G.
Everybody tell the truth when you're 3 shots in.